Hola, ¿cómo estáis? Hoy vamos a ver los diferentes usos de la palabra como. Today we will see the different uses of the Spanish word como. Como is another of those words that we use a lot in Spanish everyday conversation, and for that reason it is a good idea to become familiar with all of its meanings and uses. As we have discussed before, it is very rare that the Spanish word has one simple and straightforward translation into English. When learning any foreign language, it is vital to keep an open mind at all times and be prepared to deal with lots of different translations for any one word. Como, for example, can be translated to like, as, about, or how in English, depending on the specific moment it is used in. So let's start examining how and when we use the Spanish word como. To compare similar objects, people, or actions, we'll use como. So let's see some examples. If you want to say, my bicycle is like yours, then you'll say, mi bicicleta es como la tuya. My mother is like my grandmother. This is, mi madre es como mi abuela. And swimming in a swimming pool is like swimming in the sea. Then you say, nadar en una piscina es como nadar en la playa. You'll use como with a verb in indicativo after to describe how we do an action. So if you want to say, I'm going to cook the chicken as an assess, then you'll say, voy a cocinar el pollo como Ana dice. Or if you want to say, we will study as the teacher recommends us, then you'll say, estudiaremos como nos recomienda el profesor. But you use como with a verb in subjuntivo to describe how we do an action when the speaker doesn't know how to do it yet. So if you want to say, I'm going to cook the chicken as Anna says, but I don't know yet how Anna says it, then I'll say, voy a cocinar el pollo como Ana diga. Or if you want to say, we will study as the teacher recommends us, but you don't know yet how the teacher will recommend it, then you'll say, estudiaremos como nos recomiende el profesor. When discussing como, it is all important to be aware of the Spanish expression como si, which opens up even more uses and meanings. To describe something real with an imaginary idea, you'll use como si with a verb in subjuntivo. When both elements are simultaneous, then you'll use como si with imperfecto de subjuntivo. So if you want to say, he speaks English as if he was British, then you'll say, habla en inglés como si fuera británico. But when the imaginary element occurs first, then you'll say, como si with pluscuamperfecto de subjuntivo. So if you want to say, he speaks English as if he had lived in England, then you'll say, habla inglés como si hubiera vivido en Inglaterra. To describe something real with an imaginary idea, giving greater emphasis on the imaginary idea, you'll use ni que with imperfecto de subjuntivo or pluscuamperfecto de subjuntivo. So if you want to say, Sylvia spends all her money on clothes as if she were rich, then you'll say, Silvia gasta todo su dinero en ropa, ni que fuera rica. It takes time to pick up all the little intricacies of the Spanish language, and patience, perseverance, and an open mind are strong qualities in the most successful Spanish students. The best and easiest way to speak Spanish to a really high level is, of course, to live in Spain or Latin America and surround yourself with native Spanish speakers all day and every day. That way you will be learning Spanish and improving even when you are not aware of it. However, even if you don't live in Spain or Latin America, you can still get all of the material you need from the wonderful invention that is the internet. I am a firm believer that anyone of any age can learn a foreign language to a very high level. It all depends on the time you can set aside to studying Spanish and practicing Spanish, and the dedication you have to achieving your goals. I look forward to continuing to help you along the way. See you next time with more Spanish. Hasta luego.